I want to speak a little about the Maghealy and the history of the Maghealy, because there was when we had the Healy and we recognized how much success people have with applying the Healy, how many people's well-being and holistic health has been increased. We got the feedback from the field. We started our first own studies, additional to the studies which we had already, and we had this overwhelming feedback. So this very much inspired us to proceed also with the development. And the next step which I saw in the development of Healy was to include the knowledge and experiences of one of the greatest persons on this planet alive, who has the most experience with the specific effects of frequencies. She trained thousands of people to become frequency therapists all over the world. She has not only her schools in the United States, but one in London, one in Cairo in Egypt, in Australia, in East Europe, in so many places, in Germany where we met her. I'm speaking about Carolyn McMakin. And I had the honor and pleasure to, many years ago, visit one of her core seminars. It's a full week of training of how to use 2 channels of frequencies simultaneously, applying them to a person. She used mainly wet towels to do it, very low current of 200 microampere going through those parts of the body which were affected. And I saw what was happening in each of the seminars. In one seminar, we had around 30 to 40 therapists. So all the participants were therapists. But they trained to use this method always in pairs of therapists. So each of the therapists had some issues to be dealt with. And for most of them, within the course of this 7 days, these issues were solved. It was so fascinating for me to see. I also participated in it, and I learned a lot. And my desire was so clear. I want to integrate these frequencies with this experience, with this extraordinary lady behind, into not only time but also into the Healy, which that time was not yet developed, but we had the concept for the Healy already 2013. This seminar was 2014. So it took a long time to decide how to do it, because we understood. First, we integrated it in time waiver, and there we could train the therapist using 4 electrodes of wet towels or a special type of electrodes to deal within a physiotherapeutic context or other contexts. But now the challenge was how to integrate it in Healy, where we are not dealing with therapists, where we are not dealing with medical issues. We don't treat diseases, but we are taking care. We are taking a holistic health approach to help people to rebalance their bioenergetic field, to make a deep impact on a level of energy and information, how to integrate it. And together with Carolyn, we had a great idea, because she told me, and I was fascinated by this, that the same frequencies which she applies electrically through the wet towels can be applied with very weak electromagnetic fields. But you need two separate magnetic coils, magnetic fields. You need 2 separate, distinct magnetic coils, and each of them having their own frequencies, so that you can apply 2 frequencies at once. You have heard about it. One frequency addresses the issue which you want to address in the bioenergetic field. If something is overregulated or underregulated, or there's too little energy or too much, it can be all kinds of different issues. And then the second frequency addresses the bioenergetic tissue, which location which area in the body or in the mind or in the bioenergetic field is energetically addressed. So if you combine these two frequencies, it's like two laser beams who meet at one point. It's very specific. So this is a complementation to the way which we use the Healy, where everything is guided from the information field, so that always the whole system is addressed and being pushed towards a more holistic state, towards more coherence. So here, working with the Maghealy, with the magnetic field, one can work more precisely. So that's amazing. You can also place it locally. Wherever you need it, can be placed on the knee or on the back or at the neck, but you can also apply it globally to the whole body. You just apply it to the chest. For example, you lie down, take the Maghealy and place it on your chest and relax or fall asleep, whatever. Choose a program which you need, like Brain Harmony or like Vegas for relaxing, or there are many other programs for increasing the well-being through interaction with the bioenergetic field. So this was the history. We wanted to integrate Carolyn McMakin's heritage into the Maghealy and make it so usable without having wet electrodes, without having lots of cables, without that one needs specific knowledge. So it's everything customized, and Carolyn gave us the sum and essence of her 20 years or even more of experience in 24 specific protocols, which contain always a series of couples of frequencies. So this was the original intention why we developed the Maghealy. But then, and this is always happening when one has a great idea, we saw that if we already have these two powerful coils creating an interference of two magnetic fields with two different frequencies, we can use this asset also for different additional application, because, and here is the difference which distinguishes the Maghealy from the Healy, distinguishes it that the Maghealy, if you place it in any part of the room, creates a magnetic field which in the shape of a torus permeates the space around up to a radius of 1 to 1.5 meters. So within this radius, the space gets vibrant with the frequencies which are emitted from the Healy, in which this toroidal magnetic field vibrates. Because the space itself is not just emptiness, but we know it's full of energy. It's a grid of energy, and it can vibrate. It can be coherent or non-coherent, like water. So space has energy, space has quality. All the ancient cultures knew it. They talked about the energy of the space because it's a grid of oscillators. It's vibrant. It's something which we understand. So the Maghealy actually energizes the space around you. And that's great because we can stay in the aura of the Maghealy with 2, 3, 4 people, and even beyond this 1.5 meter, you can assume that the whole space or a whole room is affected by this vibration, because if a part of the space vibrates, the rest of the room will also be affected. So if you have a meeting, you can place the Maghealy in the center of the meeting room, and you can, according to the program you choose, you can calm down the energy, or you can make it more creative or focus, or try to use the conflict solving frequencies. It depends also on the purpose of the meeting. Or put it in the room of your children where a certain energy is required. Depends on what the kids want to do. Maybe they want to study. They should sit down, or they just want to play, and you try to avoid conflicts. Choose this program. So this is the idea of the Maghealy atmosphere module. So the atmosphere module complements the Maghealy, the McMakin module. McMakin module means you take the Healy, you take the Maghealy, put it close to your body so that the magnetic field permeates the body. You know what happens if a dynamic magnetic field works through your body? It creates currents, circular currents. So electricity and magnetism are related to each other in a complementary way. Electrical current and magnetic fields create each other. Like in an electromagnetic wave, like in light, the electric and the magnetic vectors of the field are rectangular to each other. They are orthogonal, and they create each other and annihilate each other. In this way, you can use your Healy with the electrical current through your body and simultaneously be within this vibrant space of a pulsating magnetic field with harmonizing frequencies which the Maghealy creates. I have mentioned it already in one of the last webinars that before I started to develop time waver and after I studied physics, still in the time when I was a monk traveling India, and I learned this Vedic arts from them. I learned the ancient Vedic astrology, and I learned the ancient Vedic geomancy and also architecture, and I combined it. So the principle of the energy of space I learned from these sources and from these masters. And I have seen that this knowledge is a mixture of universal principles which are expressed in the language of a culture and in the language of a certain age. Thousands of years ago, just by observing your living space to understand the energy of the space and how it might interact with you, it can be personalized. I want to just tell you 2-3 things. One is the energy of the north is very important, because from the north there is a stream of energy coming along the magnetic lines, entering the house through the north. So watch out for the quality in the north of your house or of your living room or of your office. It should be light. There should be a window which leads in the energy. And if there is a heavy oak cupboard, take it away, bring it to the other side. The same is with the east. So the positive energy of the morning sun, of the rotation from the earth is coming there and take care of this direction. And they meet in the northeast. So the northeast is the gate of the energy into your space. Have it clean, have it as light as possible, and that's the place where you can put the Maghealy, once you have it, to affect the whole space from this important position. And then it's not so important anymore how strong the magnetic field are. It goes down to nanoteslas and still can affect the bioenergetic system of a human or an animal or the plants in your house, because our bioenergetic system is very sensitive to energy, even low energy, if it has the right frequency and it has the right phase. And this is how the Maghealy works. Healy works in the same way. So in future, I want to like to share much more of this knowledge with you as time proceeds. So, but now let's get back to the different editions of the Maghealy. And I like to show you here the applications of the different modules. We talked about the McMakin applications. They are all about harmonizing the different aspects of the magnetic fields. And actually that's important to, not the magnetic, the bioenergetic field. That's important to understand. How do the frequencies and the energy, the vibration of the space, how do they affect us? How can they affect us to increase our well-being? There is a key, and this key is known since thousands of years in Asia.